Remar was born from the hearts of men and women in love with Jesus Christ and His gospel. People who dedicate themselves to serving others, to assist. Thus, beginning with those addicted to heroin back in the 1980s, which had caused great devastation for so many families in Spain, Remar expanded its reach into various developing nations, with homes for women who have been left destitute, children living on the streets and the abandoned elderly, young people and adults struggling with addictions, small clinics and hospitals, social aid in prisons, and much more. Also, small businesses were established in order to achieve self-funding, reaching 70 countries today with thousands of people served. Remar S.O.S. Wars and natural disasters made clear the need to respond with urgency during catastrophic events, to help those left with nothing suddenly. So Remar missionaries were the first to arrive to help, and in the majority of cases, they stayed in the places where the disaster occurred. They made their presence known with all types of aid during the earthquakes in El Salvador and Peru, remaining always present during floods and every kind of disaster where humanitarian aid is urgent and needed. Refugee aid. Isaiah 21:14. Go out and meet those who are thirsty. Bring them water, you inhabitants of the land of Tema. Help the one who is fleeing with bread, for they are fleeing from the sword, from the drawn sword, from the drawn bow, and from the heavy weight of the battle. Syria. The Syrian civil war began after anti-government protests in 2011. It ended the lives of 470,000 people and triggered a humanitarian crisis, with millions fleeing. In 2016, of the 22 million people, more than 13,500,000 escaped across all the borders of Syria, with the most basic belongings, seeking to save their lives. To reach their destinations by walking or crossing the sea in precarious boats, they found Greece to be their mandatory path to Europe, until the entry of refugees was closed, leaving several million stuck in camps set up for them. Very precarious conditions, until the agreement between Europe and Turkey, where they were moved in order to stop them from entering Europe. Since 2015, Remar has helped refugees migrating to Europe, and later directly feeding and caring for those stranded in the refugee camps of Lesbos, Malakasa, Moria, and Kara Tepe. English and mathematics classes were provided to over 3,000 children, and 3,500 people were transported to hospitals, especially during COVID. The social dining hall remained open with volunteers, serving tea, soups, fruit, and various snacks throughout the day. Laundry services were managed and help was provided in cleaning the container homes for the sick and elderly. On the 24th of February, 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine, beginning the war that is still active today, resulting in death figures in June 2024 of 30,000 civilian victims and more than 50,000 dead soldiers. A war that has resulted in the displacement of over 6.5 million refugees, seeking protection worldwide, while about 3,700,000 continue to be forcibly displaced inside the country. From the very first days, volunteers from Remar arrived with trucks filled with food, clothing, blankets, toiletries, and basic necessities at the borders to help those who were fleeing, increasing the aid day by day in different border cities of Ukraine with Romania and Poland, and later on within Ukraine itself. Currently, Remar S.O.S humanitarian aid is carried out in 5 Ukrainian cities, providing since March 2022 between 2,500 and 3,000 daily meals, in addition to clothing and supplies, weekly food boxes, and daily medical assistance, especially for seniors and children. Remar Spain, since the beginning of the war, has sent 4 containers of food and humanitarian aid to Ukraine, with messengers of peace, with 3 containers of aid. From Switzerland, there were 5 containers of humanitarian aid. From Remar, Italy, there were 15 containers of humanitarian aid. We count on donations of aid from the Spanish Association Messengers of Peace, from the Italian Specchio and Arca, Iumedica based in Germany and AVC based in Switzerland. Very noteworthy from the trip to Ukraine in the month of May 2026 was the visit of the Remar S.O.S team in Ukraine. Israel Galvez, Juan Carlos Galvez, and Remar pastors, who joined Miguel Dex during the visits of appreciation. To Remar, on behalf of the government mayors in Ukraine. Vitaly Klitschko, mayor of Kiev. Roman Klitschko, mayor of Chernivtsi. Also with the former Prime Minister of Ukraine for 2 terms, Mrs. Tymoshenko. During this visit, the mayors expressed their great concern regarding the situation of the soldiers and requested assistance to accommodate many of them in the future, with serious problems of addiction and depression. At the end of each meeting, everyone joined together to pray for the country. Turkey. In the early hours of February 6, 2023, the southeastern region of Turkey was shaken by a series of strong earthquakes. Immediately, medical volunteers from Remar in Eastern Europe arrived in the province that was most affected, Hatay, where they attended to 6,500 patients according to our medical records. Medical aid was provided in different cities of Turkey for a period of 1 year following the earthquake in clinics that were set up in tents, set up by volunteers. The Spanish donated ambulance was very useful. A headquarters was also opened in Antioch, which remains providing social and material aid to the population. More than 300,000 plates of food have been distributed since the earthquake to the affected people. In Valencia, on the 2nd day of the tragedy, volunteers from Remar were distributing food, supplies, tools, clothing, and home assistance, clearing away the rubble and cleaning out the sewers. With boots on and out on the streets. More than 500 people have been helped every single week with 15,000 tons of food in the 14 months after the storm. Remar S.O.S carries out its aid work in all the countries where it is present, including Europe, Latin America, and Africa, providing food and care to the most disadvantaged and socially vulnerable, such as the work carried out in the United States for many decades with the homeless in Miami and distributing tons of food to families needy. Remar S.O.S, with the help of God and brave volunteers, will continue to be ready to bear witness to the love of Jesus Christ for human beings, and especially for the most needy, placing our hands and resources at their complete disposal in every place that it is needed.